So this is my review of the Otty gel memory foam mattress, which has up to 2,000 pocket springs, which are encapsulated in a king size. So 2,000 pocket springs because the number of pocket springs are always calculated on the king size. So if you have a smaller mattress, you've got less springs in it proportionately to the king size. Encapsulated because the pocket springs do not go right out to the edges. They come to about here, and you've got foam coming all the way around the edges. The idea being, one of the problems with pocket springs, you tend to get a roll off as you go to the edge of the mattress. Obviously you've got all these springs all working individually, all giving individually, and the downside of that is as you go towards the end of the mattress, they give a lot on the edge where you actually want a bit more support. So what they do is they box it in and they call it encapsulated. So that basically just means it doesn't go quite to the edge. You've got foam going all around, and the idea being it reinforces the edge. Does it work? Quite honestly, not on this mattress, because I don't think the foam is firm enough on the sides and it's not great for edge support. Overall, it's an interesting mattress when you consider that it's one of the cheapest of these type of online mattresses. For what you get, it's interesting. It's not terrible. I had some decent night's sleeps, but it's on the firm side. On the other hand, it is quite bouncy, which is a good thing for certain activities, or if you just prefer a bouncy feel, because it's got the memory foam top, and normally memory foam has a dead feel and you get almost no bounce. So combining the two is quite interesting. I quite enjoyed it, but at the end of the day, it was too firm for me. So who are Otty? Otty are an online company, started in 2016, so relatively new to the market. They are based in Leeds. They're going to expand out to Berlin and Amsterdam, but however, the mattress they're going to sell in Europe won't be the same as the mattress they sell in the UK. Will it be better or worse? Well, probably better, because that seems to be what happens in the rest of Europe. They do tend to get a better mattress. One side, the argument going that UK fire laws are different to the rest of the EU, and because we have to put the fire retardant chemicals actually in the foam itself, it changes the nature of the foam and it changes what foams you can use. So where you go across Europe, and normally they just have the fire stocking, common to get CertiPure certified polyfoams. It's quite rare to get that in the UK. Why should you be bothered? Well, it means you've definitely got no harmful chemicals leaching out of it, and the other chemicals will be low. There is a company overseeing exactly what is happening with that mattress. Every so often they will go back and test that mattress, make sure it's still not leaching the dangerous chemicals, doesn't even contain those dangerous chemicals, and it has low volatile organic compounds anyway, which is the smell you get when it off gases. So we're kind of getting a rough end of the stick in the UK. However, Eve have a completely CertiPure certified mattress, so it can be done, you know, at around this price level. I have to say, Otty are a company based in Leeds, but the mattress, which was a surprise to me, because on the website it does say all about designed and the company based in the UK, but it's imported from China. Where it's designed, I don't know, and is it just assembled? Look, I don't know anything about that. But it's worth pointing out, whereas a lot of them are put together, manufactured and delivered from within the UK, this actually comes from China. Of course, that's why it's cheaper, isn't it? The costs are cheaper in China. So is that good or bad? Without knowing exactly what foam they've used, I can't say. The two big things about Otty are, you've got the gel memory foam. Why would you want gel memory foam? Well, because the story goes, if you have gel embedded, well, the heat properties of gel are different. So what is a gel? It's because it changes state from solid to liquid. So the gel is inside a little bead. The beads are impregnated into the memory foam itself, and the idea being, as the memory foam heats up, this gel will absorb that heat. However, some people say, well, it just slows down the heat retention. It doesn't change it. There's another benefit, that it will also change how the heat is spread across the memory foam and down to other layers. Not only does it soak up heat, it's supposed to spread it. Thermal conductivity. But however, some people say it works, some people say it doesn't. I don't know. I'm not particularly sensitive to these heat issues because I've never really had a problem with heat retention. But then I have a very light duvet, you know, and you do have to mix and match. If you're getting hot, you've got to change your bedding. You've got to mix and match them a little bit. But I'm not particularly sensitive, so I can't say it has worked or it hasn't. I have seen some comments about this particular one saying, yes, they do seem to sleep cooler. Generally though, the jury is certainly out. The other thing is, how much gel are they using? You know, if it's 1%, ain't going to make much difference. If it's 30%, would be a good quality gel memory foam. I've got no idea. And that's the thing about Otty. they don't tell you what foams they are using or much information at all. Not because they are hiding it, for the very reason they're saying it's for commercial decisions. They don't like the information being out there because other companies can pick it up. That's what they say, and that's what a lot of companies say. A lot of the companies online, or not, even in the high street, will not tell you the specs of their foam. Just seems to be a traditional thing. There is no real reason to it, because at the end of the day, as people become more educated to how to buy a mattress, you know, probably the most important thing to know in a foam mattress is the density. That's the one biggest indicator of life down the road. They will all say, we give you a 10-year warranty, but they will all say they have huge limitations within that warranty. Very hard anyway, generally, to claim on a mattress warranty unless there is an inherent manufacturing fault in it. So if in a year's time you say get a half-inch sag, and so you're sinking in a little bit too much, it's retaining its shape and that's not much nice to sleep on, you can't claim on that. They all write in that you can't even start thinking about claiming till you get that 1-inch sag, which is already significant. And the thing is, it's not going to be just a sag. What you're going to find is the amount it depresses according to the same pressure will change. So that where you've been pressing down on the mattress over time, your shoulders, your hips, you'll find that will become softer compared to the rest of the mattress. Still, it's going to feel different from year 1 to year 2 and onwards as that starts to happen. Now, that's not so easy to claim on anyway. Not really something that's covered by the sag, because it wouldn't actually sag. It's just that you're going to give a lot more in year 2, 3, 4, if that happens, than you would in year 1. Change the whole feel of the mattress. Anyway, I'm not going to go over the cons and pros of the warranty, just to point out they're all the same. So get it right from the beginning, rather than think, well, it doesn't matter because I can claim down the line. And that's why densities are so important. However, I quite liked it. It is a pleasant thing. I can't say it's really, really comfortable. It is on the firm side. So they are obviously an online company. They're all doing a 100-night trial. Bruno, down there, Bruno does a 101-night trial, but no, basically they're all 100-night trial. If you don't like it, send it back. Now, Otty are slightly different, whereas most of them will take it and give it to a charity. Otty as in my understanding, I've not sent this one back obviously, my understanding is they take it back, they check it first to make sure it's in good condition, and they may well sell that mattress on as refurbished. I don't know. Online chat told me they're planning to start a refurbished line. So they are keeping, obviously they are cheap, and obviously their margins, I suppose, are less. They're looking to cut their losses, whereas others are, I mean, even like Leesa actually give away 1 in every 10 mattresses they sell. But Otty are trying hard to reduce those losses. So I'm just pointing out that there is a eBay channel, Case Addict UK, where certainly the founder of Otty, among other items, are selling off refurbished mattresses. Now, I don't know if those are returns or not. I don't know if those are damaged in transit or anything, so I'm not making a comment. I just know that online said they plan to sell off the refurbished returns. I don't know if they're doing it now, but there is an eBay channel where they are selling refurbished Ottys. Very different from all the others. So the big things are the gel memory foam, which may or may not work, the pocket springs, which add bounce, and what they call their airflow system. So what is their airflow system? Well, it's not an internally battery operated fan, because it sounds quite high tech, but what it is the series of holes that they've put on the sides and on the top, allowing air to circulate, which is obviously going to help with cooling. Anything you can do to get air going around the mattress is going to help take away some of that heat. So that's good. So the big thing about this mattress is bounce for a memory foam, and it should sleep cooler than other similar spec memory foam mattresses. And of course, when you say memory foam on mattresses such as Otty and Eve, the bulk of the mattress is of course normal polyfoam. It's just that top layer that's memory foam, but as that will be the most significant feel you get as you lay on it, we call them memory foam. But of course, strictly speaking, they're not memory foam mattresses, they're polyfoam mattresses, because that's what the bulk of the materials are. Whereas with, I suppose, on this is different, because the bulk of the material, the inner core, will be those pocket springs. And as I say, even with pocket springs, you need to know the quality, you need to know what material they've used, what gauge, what material they're using to wrap the springs in. We don't know any of that. So that's one thing to bear in mind with Otty is you don't know really what you're buying from that sense. Now, they really seem to believe that it's not important and it's just the feel of the mattress. I can only give my personal opinion, as I would feel far more comfortable knowing what the specs are and get an idea in my head how it compares to other mattresses and what the lifespan of it is. The weakest point of your mattress will be the weakest foam in it. The least spec'd part of that mattress will go first, although it's normally the top layer. So if this is a particularly low density top layer memory foam, you'd expect that to start losing its properties first. But, you know, I don't know anything. However, when you buy Otty, you get the chance of, at the moment, it seems a constant 50 quid off or 2 free pillows. And the pillow sounds good. Why? Because, well, they sell for 50 quid each. Here's one I opened earlier. So it's Otty. Now, you can have 50 quid off or 100. Kind of, because they're 50 quid each. Is it a £50 pillow? Now, the reason I'm pulling this out and saying it's interesting, because the support on Otty tell me foam in the pillow is the same in the top layer on the mattress, which means I can weigh this, measure it, and work out what the density was. And when I did that, it seemed to be about 50 kilo per cubic meter, which would be okay. It's not great. 75 kilo per cubic meter on the Eve, which is a good spec. So if that's right, 50 kilo, you wouldn't want any less than that for your top layer, but you know, it's okay. Bear in mind, this is one of the cheapest mattresses of this type you're going to buy. So you're not going to expect the highest quality. So it's okay. Just to show you, by the way, what do I think of the pillow? It's okay. I'm not a big fan. I prefer the one when they're flaked off. So you don't get an actual lump of foam. It's kind of like a down pillow mimicking it. It's shredded foam. I prefer those. But as foam pillows go, it's not bad. It's probably in line with what I would expect to pay like 25, 30 quid for online. At the end of the day, it's a proper memory foam in the sense of it's not trying to be fast responsive, almost a polyfoam, but we'll call it a memory foam. It's a proper memory foam. It has some decent response, but it's a proper memory foam as it's quite sticky and it'll take a few seconds to come back to its shape, but not all night. And it's quite soft and comfortable. So I think the 50 kilo works better on a pillow than for the mattress, in my personal opinion. And as for the pillow I think it's okay. I'm not a fan of these type of pillows personally, but it was okay. Yeah, I think it's worth buying a couple if you like a slab of memory foam, if you find that comfortable. I have to say I do like the shape. Some of them are much more slanted on the front, and it's harder to get it right into the neck where you want a good fit to get that support between your head and your neck. You're still getting the support there, you know. So I think if I would pay 25 quid, I'd say that was a good buy. But you know, I think it still works out. 50 quid off, 2 pillows, whatever. Unboxing the Otty was quite interesting because you get a little bit more instructions, well, a little bit more sensible in terms of, I don't get a big booklet telling me all about their other products. Otty also do other products, by the way, but I don't want to read all, when I'm doing when I'm unboxing my mattress, I don't want to know about the pillows and the dog mattress and all that stuff. I just want to know how to unpack it. And you do get some straightforward instructions. However, strangely generic. What do I mean? Well, because it says, if the mattress you purchase contains memory foam, please be mindful that it reacts to heat. Of course, it is memory foam, so that means, although it's branded Otty, whoever is packing them do lots of different mattresses, and they're making instructions to cover all of them. And yet, it's branded Otty. It's actually quite weird, I have to say. But there you go. What I did like, it does say about it's best to let it air for 24 to 48 hours. Most of them do not tell you that. I suppose they don't want to give any indication that there may be a problem breathing in chemicals in that first 48 hours. However, Otty do, so I was pleased about that. The instructions that you get on the mattress plastic was also quite helpful, not least because it doesn't mention high density foam. And this is what I'm finding peculiar. What it does refer to is FR, fire retardant regular foam. And even on the bottom, fire retardant regular foam. I know on the website they talk about the second layer down, luxurious foam. I asked them what does that mean, and they just said it means it's soft, as opposed to where they describe the base layer as high density. Of course, you want high density throughout. It should be high density. Doesn't say that on here. They don't even say that for the second layer down on the website. I don't know what it is. It may well be the best quality. I don't know. It's just that on here they talk about regular foam. But it's nice to actually have something that actually explains what there is. The other thing was, when I talk about a fan, when they talk about the airflow, and oh, do people really actually think there's a fan or something high-tech in there? It's because they actually have a picture of a fan on here. It could be a little bit misleading. I don't know. Am I being naive in that thing? Thinking, I don't know. But yeah, I thought the unpacking was well presented. Albeit some of the information was a bit strange. Just to point out, on the cover it does say made in China, which was a shock to me, because there was no indication anywhere else it came from China. Is that a problem? No, why should it be? It just means they're getting it cheaper, but they do talk about being UK based and it's UK design. So the mattress itself, I'm going to give you a look. I don't know why I did that, by the way, but anyway, I'll give you a proper look at it. So starting with the cover, what is it? The top part is 97% polyester and 3% elastane. Elastane being lycra, 3% is a good amount. It means it feels quite stretchy. And the other thing is, this is good quality. It's 500 GSM, so that's a decent weight. It is one of the heavier covers that I've actually weighed. So the cover is good, definitely good quality. It does feel nice, and it's quite thick. Now they talk about the cover being removable, and you can wash it at 40 degrees. However, what they don't tell you is it doesn't remove from the top. You have to still come right down to the bottom, unzip it and take it off. So it's not something on the king size that you're going to be wanting to do every week. That's a shame they did it that way around. Some of them do have the top easily removable from the top. Now the other thing is, you'll notice I don't have a bottom on there. Where is it? It's over here. I have to say, when I tried unzipping it a couple of times, it did actually come away and I couldn't get it back on. So that zip actually broke on mine, I have to say. It could be user error. I don't know. Now I think the bottom is cotton and the sides are polyester and cotton blend, or I may have got that wrong. It may just be pure polyester. It talks about 87% polyester, 13% cotton. It does feel like a cotton, the base, so I don't know, but it's basically mostly polyester with some cotton, but the top is definitely polyester with 3% elastane, and 500 GSM, so that is good, except that mine split. So that's the cover, the mattress itself. But before I do that, I actually just want to show you the response. So first of all, the edge support, which I said wasn't great, it does completely give way really on the side. It does give away as you sit on it, more than any others I've tried. So that was one thing that was disappointing. However, in terms of responsiveness, even though it's a sticky type, what I call traditional memory foam, it should be like that. A lot of the newer ones trying to be clever, I think, and have something between a normal polyfoam and the memory foam, so it's not strictly full-on memory foam. So they can say it's more responsive. But if you want memory foam, don't you? Because that's the difference between a polyfoam and a memory foam, is that a polyfoam will compress as you push down it, but a memory foam is actually displacing. So you're not pushing, so you're not getting the pushback in the same sense, and that's why it's contouring. So I'm lining it, and then I move off. You should see that there's no real indentation. I mean, obviously, to get a real indentation, you want to be lying on it a lot longer. But I can tell you, there's no problem. Some memory foam mattresses, you're lying on it, you move, the dip's still there. That isn't the case with Otty, so that's good. It is a firm feeling mattress, but it's comfortable, but for me a little bit too firm. And so I think it's good for back sleeping especially. I do get lower back pain. I didn't get any while I'm sleeping on this, I have to say. So I do have to give it a thumbs up because it was back friendly. And to me, at the end of the day, that's the main thing I need in my mattress. However, the springs, which give it a lot of bounce, there's a lot of pushback. And it's not shoulder friendly. I can feel the pushback. It's certainly, if you've got shoulder issues and you are mainly a side sleeper, it's not really going to be, I don't think, the greatest mattress. Got to bear in mind your weight. I'm 13 stone, 82 kilo. If you are lighter than me, it's going to feel even firmer. If you are bigger than me, it's going to feel softer. Now I have to say, I do think of all the mattresses I tried, this may be one of the best suited to heavier people. The specifications that they give are 139 kilo, and you can have two people up to 139 kilo. Not the single, obviously, it's going to be a double, but most of the others are 114 kilos. So that does go along with that thinking that actually the whole feel of the mattress and the fact that it's got the springs probably suited to a heavier person than a lighter person. We covered the edge support, responsiveness, the cover. Let's have a look at the foam layers. Now, you will notice a split. That is entirely user error. I did that because I was trying to get inside it and have a look at the pocket springs. But it was a surprise to me. I didn't realise. Now, when they talk about the second layer down, I will talk about the first layer in a minute, but because they talk about the layers, and you'll notice that actually you've got the top gel memory foam layer. The rest appears to be one layer, and that's because this, of course, is reinforcing those pocket springs. So the actual second layer down starts like about here, whereas, you know, it doesn't do much reinforcement. It's surprisingly soft for something that's supposed to be reinforcing. But it starts about there, so that layer is really like that, which makes more difference on a single, obviously, than if you've got a Super King, where it's a smaller percentage of the entire mattress. And they call it luxurious. It is quite soft, but I want to know the densities. Now, of course, here we have 3 centimeters, 1.1 inches of unknown density gel memory foam, 3 centimeters, 1.1 inches of unknown density memory foam, and you'll notice it's got all these holes in, and this is part of their airflow system. So this hole does go right through. Having said that, and it goes through to the next layer, but you've also got these holes on the side, so you've got air able to circulate into the pocket springs and around the inner core, and you've got holes coming to, you know, helping to get some air down into the underside of that memory foam, which of course is impregnated with gel. Now, I don't know how much gel is in it, but you can see a significant number of gel beads, so it's probably not terrible. I don't know why they don't tell us, but this is a nice memory foam as far as I'm concerned. That's what I want from my memory foam. Come out slowly like that. I don't want it to be responsive because then it's pointless. It means it's not full-on memory foam. It's not going to be contouring in the same way. So I do like this memory foam, but again, like Eve, let's say 3 centimeters. The heavier you are, the more significant the lack of memory foam is going to be. If you're very light, it won't matter. But of course, it's there purely as a comfort layer. It's there purely for you to fill out, you know, the gaps in your body and to take the pressure of the heavier parts of your body. And the heavier you are, you're already sinking in past it. So it's not going to be able to do as much as if it had, say, you know, another 3 centimeters on it. Would have made a huge difference as far as I'm concerned. Now, if I push down, I can feel the very obvious feel of those springs. I personally feel, again, there isn't enough foam for my liking on top of those springs. However, it doesn't make it uncomfortable, it just makes it feel firm and with an obvious pushback. But what it is unusually bouncy for a foam mattress. If I use a weight to demonstrate that, so I have to say, to me that's a unique thing about Otty. No, for mattresses I've tried, it does have a unique feel in the sense of the memory foam on top and the amount of bounce. I quite enjoyed my sleep, but it was just a bit too firm for my liking. But you know, I can recommend it, definitely. I did like it, but I can see like a lot of them, it's going to be very hit and miss. It's going to be very much personal preference. However, you've got to be able to be happy with a firm feel and the obvious feel of the springs. This is a significantly heavy kettlebell. That is 16 kilo, about 32, 35 pounds. Just to demonstrate at that weight. Now normally on a pure memory foam mattress or a significantly amount of memory foam and polyfoam, you would not be getting that bounce. It would be, you know, basically dead. It would be not moving. But that still moves at that weight. That is very bouncy, and I can see a lot of people liking that feel. When you combine in, it is a cheap mattress. I don't mean it's cheap as in rubbish. I mean cheap as in You know, of the main reviews I've done, I've tried a lot of mattresses, but I only started really taking it seriously on the last 6 mattresses. And of the 6 mattresses I reviewed, it's the cheapest. If I knew what the materials were, it may well be the best value. So that's the gel memory foam. Again, it looks like there's a reasonable amount of gel in it, because I can see the beads, but I don't know. The jury's out whether it works or not, but certainly they've done everything they can to try and alleviate the problem of heat retention in your memory foam by putting the holes in, by adding the gel. Certainly going to potentially be cooler than a memory foam that doesn't have any of that. And you can see it's kind of weird how they've put it together. So you get little, it's almost like a Meccano. The way it's, the lumps, the bits are joined together. You've got the edge there and an edge there. And then you've got your, they say is the high density base. Again, that is soft for a base layer. Well, to what I'm used to. So there's not much more I can say because we don't know the specs. To go over some of the things that obviously I've put on the website, on my Otty review online. So mentioned the edge support. It is the worst of mattresses. Of just the 6 mattresses that I've bothered to properly test and review. So you will notice a lot of sag on the edge if you try and sit on it. That is probably the weakest part of the mattress. Motion transfer. It is a bouncy mattress. You're going to get more motion transfer than typically on a memory foam top, because normally memory foam soaks up most of that motion better than a high density polyfoam. So for instance, your Eve with the memory foam top layer, but without any pocket springs, it's going to be better for motion transfer than the Otty. Otty is not going to be great. That is a trade-off with the amount of bounce. I would say on my own personal scale of firmness, it's an 8 out of 10. It is one of the firmer mattresses, but similar to something like the Eve, both firm, but because those springs are, you get an obvious pushback from it, it's going to feel even firmer than perhaps it really is. You'll get a sense of something being pushing back on you, not in an uncomfortable way. It's just that you'll be aware of it. It will be relatively to the others. It's not like sleeping on the floor. It does contour. You've got that memory foam and the pocket springs. They are contouring. As you can see, I'm pushing down. It's only giving where I push down. However, it is relatively to a lot of other mattresses a firm feel. In terms of cooling, that's obviously one of the main selling elements of Otty. Does it sleep cool? I had no issues. I've seen other people say they had better experiences on this than other memory foams, but then I've seen the opposite. So the jury's out. They've done everything they can to alleviate the heat retention aspect of memory foam. In terms of spot relief, this actual memory foam is the best that I've tried. In terms of just that top layer, it's excellent. Like in the sense of just giving way, pushing down, and all that. Look, it only starts to be affected from there. That is excellent. However, depending on how heavy you are and how far you push down, that will change. But for an average person, maybe slightly lighter than myself, it will be excellent. But as you get heavier and you're sinking into the foam below it, which obviously is not going to be as contouring, and to the springs, it becomes less so. So it doesn't fully fill out my lumbar region, as in say even the Casper, which is another firm feeling mattress, but not as firm as this. So for lighter people, it's probably one of the best for spot relief, but as you get heavier, not quite so much. But it shows that this is a proper memory foam top layer. It is a great mattress for sex because it does have a good balance between a decent amount of bounce, but also being reasonably comfortable on the top. So it's not like, you know, I would have said, you know, the Bruno was probably up the best that I've tried for that sort of thing. Matron, please. Up to now. However, it's not quite that comfortable on the top layer, which is an aspect of that, and it has a lot of spring rather than what I would call bounce, whereas this is bouncy. So maybe I would say this is the best mattress I've tried for that sort of thing. It is well suited to back sleepers. As a back sleeper, well, 6% I sleep on back, about 40% that leaves I sleep on my side. I can't say it was terribly comfortable, and I didn't feel anything obvious in my lumbar region, which I would have liked to. However, I didn't get any lower back pain while sleeping on Otty, which is unusual. So I have to say From my experience, it was excellent for lower back pain, for back sleepers. However, side sleeping, a bit more of an issue, not terribly uncomfortable, but just not enough give. If you've got shoulder pain, it's not really going to be the one for you. Front sleeping, yeah, I think again, it's going to be good. A decent balance between comfort and contouring. In terms of price, it's the cheapest of the ones I've tried. It clearly is decent value for money. Clearly an element of that is imported from China. But you pay your money, you take your choice. You've got that option. It's an interesting mattress at a cheap price. And if you're happy with its background, you know, then it's going to be fine. I just have to point that out. In terms of smell, I don't smell anything now, but it did prolong, you know, for a couple of weeks. But it appears to have gone now. So it's one of the least good, I can't say it's terrible, it's one of the least good mattresses in terms of initial smell. It has now gone. However, it lingered longer than most of the other mattresses I've tried. If you're particularly sensitive to off-gassing, you either want to let it air for a couple of weeks or it might not be the mattress for you. However, it has subsided now. I don't smell anything now, but it was not overpowering, but it was an issue for the first few days. I have to say, you know, I think it's a good option, you know, amongst the others out there. If you don't expect too much, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised, given its price level. You know, if you're not that concerned about what densities the foam and what quality materials you use around the pocket springs or the pocket springs themselves. The mattress is, I can only describe it, it was a pleasant sleep. I can't say it was overly comfortable. As I said, it was too much pushback for my liking, but I had no real issues, and I did enjoy the amount of bounce I was getting. Whereas I didn't like that on the Bruno, to be quite honest, which is quite springy without that give on the top layer that Otty has. So in terms of comfort, you know, it's an option. I'm just saying, it's an option at a good price. How does it compare to the other mattresses? So, I mean, my personal preference has been Eve with a memory foam top. I like Eve because I also have the peace of mind it is CertiPure certified. So you've got to remember, these are all petrochemicals that they're made from. So some people are more sensitive to their environment than others. If you're one of those people, this is described as hypoallergenic. However, everyone might have their own criteria for describing that. They do say it's hypoallergenic. However, you may feel the foam used in the Eve being CertiPure certified gives you more peace of mind. Eve and Otty are similarly firm, but you notice it more on the Otty. Compared to the polyfoam tops, such as the Casper, the Leesa, and that's it that I've got here. Casper is also quite firm. However, Leesa is noticeably softer. So you probably notice less of a difference between this and Casper. However, while kind of a similar firm feel, Casper does fill out my lumbar region more than this does, but doesn't have the bounce, because none of those other foam mattresses will have the bounce of Otty. So if that's a big thing for you, you know, Otty would be the way to go. Of the mattresses I've tried, I can only talk about those. But the Leesa is a very different feel, as would be Simba. Simba and Leesa are both softer, so they're different ends of the scale, whereas Simba is even softer than the Leesa. Leesa is middle ground. I can always say, if you have no idea of your starting point, Leesa is always a good place to start. It's the middle ground of all the mattresses I've tried. It's quite comfortable, but for me, well, it doesn't have the bounce of the Otty. It doesn't have good enough spot relief for me. In other words, more foam gives where you're pushing down than I personally like, so it doesn't fill out my lumbar region the same way as Casper does. However, it's a comfortable mattress. If you have lower back issues, you might find it just doesn't have quite enough support. So I think Otty is a good choice because it is quite different from the other similar spec mattresses that I've personally tried. I know there are other similar mattresses online. However, I'm only talking about what I have tried. And I think given that it is cheaper than all the others, it remains a good option. I don't know about the longevity because I don't know about the materials. So I think that basically wraps up. We've got something out of that. And thank you for watching. UK